We have made Bohri food before on this channel. We find Bohri cuisine a lot of fun to cook and eat. If you did not know, the Bohras are a small community in Calcutta. They have a much bigger presence in places like Bombay and Gujarat. Many of us non-Bohris don't get to eat Bohri food unless, of course, you are lucky to have a friend from the community. Bohri food is nearly impossible to find in restaurants in Calcutta. Since we are in the month of Ramzan, we thought we will show you some fun things to make from the Bohri cuisine. We have a good mix of easy, elaborate, vegetarian and meat dishes, so there should be something for everyone. Today we are making dal samosa, which is a variation of the keema samosa we already have on our channel, Lagan seekh, kind of like a stovetop meatloaf, aloo vada, and a milk-based drink called hariro. We should mention all of the recipes today come from Insia's mother. We have started cooking late in the afternoon so that we can have all this ready in the evening. The meat for the Lagan seekh needs to be marinated for a good hour or so we are starting by marinating the keema or minced meat first. This should ideally be done with a red meat like mutton, but we did not have enough mutton in the freezer, so we had to add some chicken thighs while grinding. The meat is being marinated with salt, some ginger garlic paste and sliced green chilies. This goes in the fridge for 2 hours. Next, I am going to make the filling for the dal samosa. We had soaked some arahar dal, that is pigeon peas, in water overnight. I am boiling the dal in roughly half the volume of room temperature water. Boiling the dal perfectly is the only finicky part of this recipe. The dal needs to be cooked but should remain whole and all of the water should get absorbed by the end of it. This usually takes us 15 minutes. I'm adding the salt and turmeric about halfway in because boiling turmeric for too long will turn them orange instead of the bright yellow color that we are looking for. While keeping an eye on the dal and prepping the rest of the ingredients for the samosa filling. Now, in ideal circumstances, we would have used green onions, as that is what is traditionally used in this dish. If you can find green onions, or are trying this dish sometime in the future under normal circumstances, we highly recommend that you use green onions and not regular onions. When the dal is cooked, increase the heat and dry off the excess moisture. Notice that I have switched to a silicone spatula at this point to avoid breaking the soft dal. Immediately put it on a mesh strainer and put it under a fan for the steam to escape and the starch to firm up. I'm chopping the saddest looking bunch of coriander leaves for the filling because that is all we had. The only saving grace is the pudina from the garden. The mint is the most important flavor in this recipe, so a generous bunch is going in. For the spices, we have a teaspoon of cumin, 2 teaspoons of coriander and a teaspoon of garam masala. Mix gently using the fold and rotate motion so as not to break the dal too much. Taste for seasoning and adjust the salt. Set this aside for now. Next, I am grinding some bread to mix in the Lagan seekh. Usually, the bread is soaked in milk, then added. But I was worried that our keema was quite wet to begin with. If I had to do this again though, I would soak the bread in milk. An important ingredient for the Lagani seekh is the beresta or fried onions, which we fried this morning. Crush or chop them before adding it to the mince. Half a teaspoon each of cumin, coriander and garam masala powder. We also need an egg. The eggs we are getting now are quite old. Just last week I cracked into an egg only to find it was rotten. So I am breaking it in a bowl first as a precaution. It is time now to arrange the different components of Lagani seekh for cooking. This is the fun part. Set a small saute pan on the heat. Peel and cut some potatoes into thick slices. When the pan is very hot, add some vegetable oil. This step seasons the pan and makes sure that the food won't stick to the pan. Layer the potatoes at the base. Season them with salt and black pepper. Next, arrange the keema in dollops all over the pan. Once the whole base is covered, press down to close any gaps. We have used about 400 grams of keema here, but as you can see, the quantity of meat depends entirely on how thick you want to make the layer. Beat 2 eggs with some salt and pour on the top of the keema. Cover and cook on a low heat until the meat is cooked to your liking. It is best to use a thermometer for safety. Ours took about 15 minutes and was a little overdone. Lagani seekh is actually very convenient to cook in an oven. Just bake it until done at 180 degrees Celsius. Insia is now prepping for the aloo vada. Mash some boiled potatoes. Add chopped green chilies. Add some grated coconut. The coconut is a key ingredient in this recipe. Season with salt. Heat some oil in a small pan. We are using the same oil that we used to fry the onions for the beresta this morning. Add half a teaspoon of mustard seeds. When they crackle, add this flavored oil into the mashed potatoes and mix everything together. Form them into medium-sized balls, about 40 grams each. Next, Insia is making the batter for the aloo vada. Pass some besan or Bengal gram flour and salt through a sieve. This step is crucial to making a smooth batter. Some chopped green chilies go in. Make a well in the center, add a little water, not all at once, and gradually work in the gram flour. Once all the besan is wet, you can add water to thin it out into a thick yet pouring consistency. Time to take the Lagani seekh out of the pan. We didn't really need to take it out right away, but we were hungry and could not wait to try a slice. Ooh, and the potatoes have gone a little too dark. We should have placed this pan over another hot tawa for indirect heat. Okay, it still tastes really good. Meanwhile, Bagha, who had been waiting in the sidelines, has come forward to demand his dues. It is now time to form the dal samosas. The Bohri samosas are unique in that they use atta wrappers instead of maida. This gives the coating a nuttier taste. We made the wrappers earlier today so that the vlog filming can go faster. Generally though, you don't want to make the wrappers too long in advance. The staler they are, the more brittle they'll become and folding will be a nightmare. The technique for creating these thin atta wrappers is very interesting. We won't be going into details in this video. Definitely watch our Bohri keema samosa video before you attempt this recipe for an in-depth explanation. Trim the wrappers on both ends to create straight edges. Insia is dividing them into 3 even segments. Keep these covered while you form the samosas. Make a thick paste with atta or whole wheat flour. This is the glue that will seal the samosas. Form a cone and fill with the dal filling. Don't overfill. These should be relatively flat. Bohri samosas are not plump because they are not wrapped in soft stretchable pastry. Apply the glue and you are done. Again, watch the keema samosa video where we've shown the filling and the folding techniques in a lot more detail. Time to make the hariro. We are only using cashews and almonds today because that is all we've got. But if you have pistachios, add them too. Heat a saucepan, add a generous amount of ghee. Cook the nuts until they are fragrant and nutty and look like a roux. Next, add some milk and cook until thickened. Add the milk in batches. Add sugar. Crush a tiny pinch of saffron with a little sugar into a powder. Add a tablespoon of milk and pour it into the pan. We always use this technique now when using saffron, ever since we read about it while making the chelo kebab video in Najme Batmangalej's book. Once you're happy with the consistency, take it off the heat. Hariro, again, is especially made in Insia's house during Ramzan to break the fast. Since this has ghee, this is usually drunk hot. We are finally getting close to the end. Heat some neutral vegetable oil in a karai because we have some frying to do. Fry in hot oil around 190 degrees Celsius. Because everything is already cooked, we just need to make them crisp. Bohri samosas are usually a little darker brown than regular samosas because they are made with atta. Once the samosas are fried, dip the potato balls in batter and gently lower them into oil. The oil should be hot so that the outside browns quickly before the insides can get hot. Otherwise, the steam generated by the filling will make the vadas burst. We'd like to end this with an appeal. This pandemic is not going anywhere and lakhs of people are struggling. There are some very kind people out there tirelessly operating community kitchens and organizing food rations and medicines for those who need them. They can really benefit from all our support. If you are privileged to still have an income, please consider donating to these groups. If you don't know of any, we have put together a list of some operating within West Bengal. The link is in the description. There is also a form through which you can let us know of other groups and organizations you know who are doing good work. So thank you for watching, and thank you to everyone working to bring some semblance of humanity to our world. Stay safe and take care.